PoliceAbuse.com has conducted an investigation involving the Brownsburg Police Department, which is located in Hendricks County, Indiana. We have with us today a complainant by the name of Nancy Harris, who filed a complaint with our organization alleging that the police department has conducted an illegal search and seizure of a residence. It looks like it pertains to an issue involving a family member or a former family member of hers. And there has been a search warrant executed at her place of residence, and she wants to talk about the conduct of the police department and the events leading up to and during and after the search warrant. So tell us a little bit about how the police department ended up with a search warrant.
Well, supposedly, I was going through this horrendous divorce. It's finally over. But during this time, my now ex, but at that time, current husband lived down the street from me. And this will come up later, his sister lives in between us, actually. And
what's husband's name?
Tim Harris.
Tim?
Yes. And his apartment got robbed, or supposedly burglarized.
Did somebody take any property with him there, or with him not?
He was not home when it happened.
Okay, so nobody was home.
Correct.
Okay, so basically it was burglarized.
That's what they say. I don't believe it ever happened.
So Tim claimed to the police department that his apartment was burglarized, or
yes.
home. Okay. And how did you find out about this?
Cops told me. The cops were here all the time.
Who's the cop?
That told me that Tim's house got broke into?
The police officer.
Officer Fentz. I think it's spelled F-E-N-T-Z.
Okay. Was he a detective or a patrol
He was
officer?
just a patrol officer.
Okay. And you were married at Tim at the time?
Yes.
Okay. And I take it you guys were separated?
Correct.
Okay. And was there a pending divorce, or just...
Yes.
Okay, pending divorce, right. And what did Officer Fentz say to you?
He said, Tim's house got burglarized. And I said, I heard that.
Okay.
And the reason I was talking to him, because they were down here accusing my other son of breaking into the Modern Cleaners. And I told them, Tim is not the best source of information. They had my son out there. I came home. I was out having a drink. I'm telling the truth. It's been a rough couple of years out here in Hendricks County. And I got home and caught them in my house questioning my son, trying to get him to confess to breaking into the Modern Cleaners.
How old is your son?
23.
Okay, he's a resident here?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Anyway, after I ran them, when I was getting ready to run them off, they told me, you realize Tim's house got burglarized. I said, I heard that. And I said, I don't think it happened. And I told the man why. And he kind of believed me. Because the police come here all the time. They're practically a fixture in my divorce. And I told Officer Fentz, I think he did it himself. I told them, for my complaint has been for a long time, that my husband is not always the same person. He's admitted it to me. Mm-hmm. He loses time. He admits it. And he's told me crazy stories that can't be true. And I told them, how could the man's house get burglarized? It's across the street from the police station. It's not possible.
What's his address?
At that time, it was 106 and a half East College. He doesn't live there anymore.
106. Yeah. It's apartment.
Yeah, it's like the top floor of a house.
Okay.
And supposedly in broad daylight, somebody went up there, broke in that house, and ran off with all this stuff. And it's across the street from the police station. The police are on my street all the time, and nobody saw anything. It didn't happen. That's what I told them.
When did this happen?
The burglary?
Mm-hmm.
In the summer of, right before this, it's 11. I don't know the exact date. It's in the paperwork that you have.
Okay.
And I saw the original officer's report saying that Tim said, look, there was no signs of forced entry. That's what Tim told the police. Mm-hmm. No signs of forced entry. But it's real easy to get in this locker with a credit card. Why is Tim giving him all that information? Nothing was broken into. And I guess property was missing. And Tim told the police somebody robbed it.
Okay. Now, what property did he claim was missing?
Well, I heard there was a couple game stations missing, some video games, a box of receipts. I saw some paperwork on it after Gina went through all this, but nothing. Never was there ever any claims of anything being missing that was supposedly found in my. Well, it was found in my house, but it was my stuff.
But you guys were legally married at the time.
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you two have children together?
Yes, one son,
Okay. How old is he?
11.
Okay. Does he go over there to visit?
Yep.
Okay. Is it possible that your son may have transferred property from here to there
absolutely.
during the visits?
Of course.
Okay. And could it be the property that he's questioning about?
It is the property that they say we stole. That's how
Okay.
it got here. That's how some of it got here. Some of it had always
So
been.
your son very well was likely the person to pick up the property, which at the time you were married, so still joint property.
The video games and such, yes. That's
Okay.
how some of
There's no evidence showing forced entry.
Correct.
Okay. And then how did the police were able to secure a search warrant?
Well, what I heard was they called me a couple times and I kept calling them back, but they wouldn't talk to me. They said that Gina had went to the Speedway gas station and told somebody that worked there. She was bragging. I saw the police report, bragging that I hired her. No, I hired her husband and her husband's friend to break into the apartment, and the police said that this boy would testify to that.
Okay.
But Gina says she never said it, and she didn't.
And when did the police show up with their search warrant?
Well, I think it was in November of 11.
Okay.
But again, they knew I wouldn't be here. They did it that on purpose.
Okay,
They
so-
knew I was supposed to be in court that day.
10 of November 2011, there's a search warrant that was signed by a judge in Hendricks County. I can't discern the signature. And it indicated the specific place, which is your address here, and specific things that need to be seized, which looks like a list of just basic small property. Nothing,
Yeah, I saw
nothing
13 items.
spectacular, nothing, no illegal contraband. Now, the police came in here and they seized several items
Yes,
that were related to the search warrant, correct?
correct.
And did they seize any items that were not on the search warrant?
Yes,
Okay. And what items did they seize that were on the search warrant?
a ladder, a bike, a battery charger, and something else.
Okay. Can any of that property still have been in here after he left?
You mean, did I have legal rights to that property?
No, did you already, was the property already here before?
Yeah, it was always here or brought back.
It was
here.
always here.
Yes,
Okay. And he lived here, correct?
always except the ladder. I borrowed the ladder from Tim.
Okay, how'd you borrow a ladder from the tin?
Well, I said I got to cut down this branch hanging out of the back of my house.
I mean, you
He
just
said,
went over and asked him?
Yeah.
Okay, and he loaned it to you?
Yeah.
All right. Now, what items did the police seize that were not on the search warrant?
They took a pipe and a tool.
Okay. And were you charged with any offense?
No,
Okay. Was there any further investigation that conducted after the seizure?
not that I know of. They just convicted her. That's all I know.
Convicted who?
Gina,
Of what?
theft.
So Gina was charged with theft
Yes,
of these items.
yes.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not sure. There's a pawn shop involved too. So I'm not sure which items they saying that she stole, but she's been not just charged, she's been convicted.
Okay, I'm gonna attempt to contact Mr. Kamau, see if he's available. And
So I can go use the restroom and stuff because you don't need me.
actually, I'm gonna have you on the phone with him. Here,
All right, it's okay. I can talk. I can hold it. Been waiting for you for a month. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Yes, I'm here with the client. I just interviewed her briefly about the incident, and what happened is her ex-husband, or actually husband-to-be, they were separated, living in another place. He filed a burglary report saying that certain items were stolen from his house, and the police department got a search warrant for these items. However, it's likely that these items were either transferred to the other person's house because of a visiting son, or it was property that was already at the house of the client, and the police used a search warrant to recover property that it was allegedly Tim Harris's property. And it does look fishy because our client wasn't charged with any crime. So I'm here with the client right now, and I just want to get your take on the matter.
Okay, no, that sounds exactly what you reported to me. I do have some things I want you to collect. That's the evidence that I want you to go after. If there's evidence that will show where that property was, or that it was in the proper place, or that the person alleging the burglary has motive to make up allegations, I need things that we can tangibly point to in a report, or things I can use in my expert review to corroborate my thoughts about the search. So that's the first half. The second half is with regard to what they recovered during the search. When you do your records request, I want to know if you can find any other cases where they've overstepped their bounds, done an improper search, or inflated the contents of a search where they said something was something that was, but it really wasn't. So we're going to attack the police department's credibility. And I also want you to make sure you visit the police department, let them know that you're in town investigating, and see if there's any officers who were involved in the search of this residence who are willing to talk with you on the record.
Very good, then. This is not the only complaint we have in Hendricks County, and I'll go ahead and investigate this complaint also, and when I'm done, I'll report back to you.
Okay, sounds good. I'm going to be tied up in a meeting for a few hours, so just use HeyTel if you need to get me, because I'll be watching that in a week and let me know if someone's trying to reach me.
All right, thank you. I'll report back to you when I'm done.
Is that Kamal?
Okay, Billy, take care and give my best to the client.
Okay, thank you.
They are harassing the shit out of me too. He told me to make sure I gave you that evidence. I have evidence to that effect before you left. Okay.
All right. Okay, so it does indicate to me that they leverage a search warrant to intervene
Took for
with a
drugs.
civil.
I know why they do.
I think personally, I think it's a civil issue. It should have never went to law enforcement. It should be something settled
But they're
in a
dirty.
divorce court.
He's got a son-in-law or a nephew-in-law that's a cop. They did this to me so he could get that kid, and it worked. I've been served with a protective order from Brownsburg and the sheriff. They're harassing the crap out of me because they know they should have never gotten in the middle of this.
Okay.